very proud that is the Saudi Arabia, which is in our region, and our brothers were able and capable to host and secure huge events or global events. 1/3 of the world leader, they were in Saudi Arabia. The Saudi political agenda was on spot. 500 journalists from all over the world. President Trump, the leader of supreme country, United States, he was there and attend the meeting. And I think the leadership of Saudi Arabia and even the Saudi people were able to show and present their culture, their view, and to show the world the moderate Muslim, not the extremist, not the people who will promoting violence. I think Saudi Arabia were able to show the world how much of efforts the Saudi are doing to fight extremism and terrorism. And the most important, the convention or the 3 summits, they have a unified agenda. They were able to criminalize Hezbollah, and in fact it was in the last statement came, and Hezbollah, some radical Islamic organization. The second issue is that we need to show the Western communities that is we are not the people who the media were stereotype them as people who promoting violence, people are supporting Daesh. I think we were on time and in need to have this kind of summits where it is could be consider an historical summit regarding the impact, the decisions, the guests, the delegations. In fact, this is one of the successful events. It's not only on the political side, but if you go to the media side, the whole world, they were focusing in Saudi Arabia. If you go to the cultural side, the Saudi were bringing the war dance, Al-Arda, and they were showing the museum and showing the culture. The Saudi youths, they were presenting their skills in MISC organization, Mohammed bin Salman organization, and they will bring the Twitters and the bloggers. I think very successful where it comes from different kinds. Even the Saudi women and the Saudi females, they were able to show their efforts, and they met with the president daughter and the wife of the President Obama. I think if you look to the distance of the Saudi Arabia and the terrain and the requirement to defend Saudi Arabia, you need more manpower and more armament. During the decisive storm, Saudi Arabia shows their ability to prevent and to support and to aid any Arabic case. This is one. The second, I think the Saudi were keen on putting the armament contract and attach it with the Saudi vision of 2030. When you invest 109 billions on armament, I think you are investing also with your own people, with you creating job, creating skills. The political side of that, when you have your armament and when you have your spare part and you have your ammunition, the influence, the political or the foreign political influence over the Saudis will be mitigated and reduced because you are able to manufacture you at least 50% of your military requirement. When you sign a contract to have 150 military helicopters to be assembled in Saudi Arabia, you are creating new jobs and you are bringing a new technology to the country. Also the message that Saudi sent, that is, the Saudi Arabia is able and capable also to host and to invest in their youths, to manage the new technology, either in armament, in communication. Also, when you have a war, you need spare parts.
True.
You need a second line echelon that is help you and support you.
Exactly.
I think that is a smart move from Saudi Arabia. Also, the Saudis also will be able to support the region, support the GCC. Mostly we are using the same weapon system. And I think in any case of shortage, the Saudi will be able to bring help and assistance. And also we might have some joint efforts. That is, the Saudi could exchange the technology with some of the GCC countries, or they train them, or we have a mutual interest. And I think it's time that is we depend, at least we try to pave the way and bring the way to be independent from foreign influence using the armament or the spare part or the ammunition. History told us that during the Gulf War 1990, some countries were abstaining on support Kuwait and Saudi Arabia with some logistic weapons. Some of them, they increased the price for 3 times. I think that is a big lesson we learned, that at least we have to host some plants or military plants and factories to at least support our requirement during a crisis and during conflict. I think the message also were sent. Most of these weapons came on the defense mode. History told us that is, the Saudi do not have the intention and the ambitious to invade people or to take the ground or overpass the border of other countries. While our opponent is in many statements, and I mentioned the Iranian and some terrorist group in the Iraqi, promoting violence, promoting hostile action, while most of the weapons and the weapon system that we own is mostly a defensive weapon systems. I think 1/3 of the world, 55 Islamic states, has approved that the Iranian intervene in our internal affairs. And if you look to the statements of all of the GCC, the Arab League, Islamic organizations also, you found that is one of the statements that come is Iranian intervene in the domestic or the affairs, internal affairs of the Arabic countries.
True.
And that was the success, because the United States, represented by President Trump, has also agreed on this issue. Now everyone knows, and every country, there are an Iranian intervention in our internal affairs. If you screen the map, you will see spy cells in Kuwait, intervention and weapon armament in Yemen, also explosion and C4 and sabotage in Bahrain, promoting violence against Saudi Arabia, and some elements come to Saudi Arabia to commit instability and a terrorist act. So I think the summit were able to show the Iranian intervention in countries' internal affairs, especially GCC and Arabic country and Islamic country, to show them the red card. In fact, they raised the red card in front of them. And if you have a conclusion for winners and losers, I think international law and Saudi Arabia and GCC and Islamic faith were the winners in the 3 summits. Losers are Iran, Hezbollah, and terrorism. Also, all the delegates in the 3 summits, they have a unified thinking, that is, they must make Iran stop to intervene in our internal affairs.
Indeed.
Also, there is a changing on the Iranian political map. President Rouhani has been nominated or has been elected as a president of Iran for a 2nd term. One of his agenda is to improve Iran prosperity, and he is not, well, they said he's not considered from the hardliners comparing with the other nominee, Ibrahim Raisi.
Yeah.
So even the Iranian society now are criticizing the regime of the Malali, the mullah. Iranian society and Iranian public also are criticizing their government and their regime of being intervening in others countries such as Iraq, Syria, Yemen. All these kind of a pressure, we hope that is make the Iranian to stop and at least to let them think again and establish a normal relationship with the region. Also, the language were hard. The statements that came from the Islamic American summits were very clear. There is no doubt about it. And also the criminalizing of Hezbollah, Muslim Brotherhood, and other organizations such as Daesh, Al-Qaeda, and others also shows to the world that is we are fighting and combating global terrorism as the other world is trying to fight it. But we have established means and tools to start this kind of extremism through the Center of Global Combating and Countering Extremist and Ideology, through establishing a force of 34,000 manpower stand to fight terrorism. And these kind of steps, the world were crippled to get the initiative to do it.
Exactly.
It has been proven, it has been working, it has been done in Saudi Arabia, cooperated with 55 Islamic countries. I think the Israelis are very aware of the big role of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and are very aware of the influence and the impact and the power to influence decisions over the Islamic world. Having at least ties or approaching Saudi Arabia for the Israeli is a winning and a political victory. But I think the Saudis are not approaching that. In fact, the Saudi, they presented in King Abdullah time, presented the Arabic Initiative for Peace Process in 2000 in Beirut Summit, and they delivered it to the Israelis, and that is what the Saudis in fact trying to solve the Palestinian issue. And I would like to go back on the Palestinian issue also. During the speeches that the Arab leaders were delivering them, I think the Palestinian issue was ranked number 1. 4 leaders of Arab leaders emphasizing on that United States should engage and trying to reach to a settlement for 2 states status between the Israeli and the Palestinian. And I think that is encourage and promote President Trump to go with a high esteem initiative and bring it to the Israeli. Also, the visit of President Trump to Bethlehem and received by the Palestinian president is a symbol of at least there is some improvement and some movement on the political state that were on stall for 2 years during President Obama. I think the American Islamic Summit were able to bring again the Palestinian issue to rank number 2, and it was before on rank number 5. First issue was terrorism, then the Palestinian issue came second.
Yes,
and most of the speakers, most of the leaders who delivered their speeches, they were insisting that is to solve the Palestinian issue, to diffuse the motive of terrorists to commit a terrorist action against the others.